Wiki wiki.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've replaced this consumer unit for 2 new consumer units and prepped for a Libbi, while Luke has installed a Tesla charger. Let's get into it. This is all being replaced, but we're going to have a Libbi system here, and on the Libbi you can have a battery backup, so you can have a 20 amp circuit off of it. Temporarily I'm going to be moving 4 of the circuits into this board and refeeding it off of this board. Then once the Libbi comes, I'll be refeeding this board off of the Libbi, so it should be an uninterrupted supply. So if he does lose power, he'll still keep on his kitchen sockets, his original downstairs sockets, his heating, and the lights in this area here. Luke's going to be outside installing the Tesla wall connector there. He already has a Zappi, but the gentleman decided to go for a Tesla.
Bit of water, never hurt anybody. Nice. See how far it goes out.
Well, it's going to have to just be clipped along the pebbles, isn't it?
So the arm of cable we're using, we're just going to connect it in a whisker box on the outside of the wall here, and then take just twin and earth from the inside, and then from the outside I was going to clip it neatly down by the side of the meter cupboard, and we was actually going to bury it just under the shingle because we've got an armoured for it, but the customer said the concrete foundations only come out just past this brickwork, but as you can see they're coming out this far. So we're just gonna have a word with him because we don't want to start chiseling away all that foundation basically. So the only other option, maybe it might be just clipped to really low level, but we'll have a word with him and see what he thinks best. Why do I get landscaping jobs every single time?
So we were debating having one big board and then bringing the supply in and having a second main switch for the backup circuits. We're still trying to find our feet with this because we've not done many of the Libbis. We've not actually had a Libbi. They're promising them at the end of the, is it end of the month or beginning of April? So there's 2 isolators here. You've got the PV array, that's a DC isolator on this side, so that's been isolated. So that's where the strings are coming down from upstairs and into here before they go into the inverter. And then from there, they're going into an AC isolator here, and that is also isolated. So there's 3 points of isolation and they are all isolated, so I can safely work on it. Now I don't normally do this kind of prep on a board change. I just do tiger stripes, but as you can see there's quite a lot going on here, and there's 2 boards and I've got to move circuits, and you can tell I'm really excited about this fuse board change, aren't you?
DX. That's the one, mate. Oh yeah. Lovely, top plate. Got it? Yep, perfect.
What is in that box?
Bit of trunking.
It's going to be one chunky bit of trunking, isn't it? Sometimes they shove some bits. Oh, they're those neutral bits I needed. Hopefully there's an RCD in there as well.
I mean, they're really saving on their packaging, aren't they? Christ. I hope that's it.
Some end caps.
Yeah, there's no RCD.
This circuit's unknown. I couldn't find it despite having everything off. What I'm going to do, I'm going to reconnect it, but leave it off overnight. And then if the gentleman finds that it doesn't do anything, I'll get rid of it. Take a picture before, did I? Oh, I'm just gonna have to put a picture after on Instagram.
So basically, we're waiting for the pen fault protection for the Tesla, which is a Garrow unit. And that's not actually arriving until 4 o'clock this evening. Luckily, we're here for 2 days. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work backwards. I'm going to install the charger first, install the cabling, get it through the wall, and get it ready. Literally, as soon as the board turns up tomorrow, we can literally connect it straight into it. So yeah, that's why it looks like I'm working backwards a little bit.
So see the bunch of cables, the white ones there, that's the original cables, and then all of that's the new stuff. Everything's been labelled up, so I've labelled them up 1 to 17, which refers to what circuits they are here, because I've done the EICR. So some of them need to go into the new board that's going to be fed temporarily off of the big board. I've got to get all this boxing out. I can't even see where it's fixed in all honesty, but that's all got to come out, then get a bit of trunking up I think. Oh, it's going to be a long day. See, there's a fix in there, but I can't get to it because they put this in afterwards, I think. And I think they screwed it through and then they put this plastic stuff over it.
Bad. Okay, it's been a bit of a pain just getting this perfectly level because of the wall. Obviously you can see it's a very bumpy wall, so it wants to tilt either way. So yeah, it's taking a bit of time just to get it perfectly level, but yeah, I'm happy with it. Guess there's no Maccas near here. So I've got this Nipex, I love this thing, I probably use it almost daily. Sadly the blade, which slices it down, so normally you twist it like that, you put the blade on and slice it down, it's snapped off, so I need a new one. Oh, I got it nearly. Oh, you're right there?
Dearie me. Oof.
Is he still doing it? Look at that. I don't even know how to...
The wall's crumbly and falling apart. Cables are into this trunking. I'm just going to try and see where this can sit. In all honesty, the wall's a bit shonky, but the idea is that's going to go right up to the trunking, and then these are going to pass straight through into it, and then I need to get the other board up here next to it. Knock all these knockouts out, get some grommets in them, just cut a slot in this because I just couldn't mark it. I didn't want to take it down again. Then I might be able to actually have the cables inside a fuse board. 20 past 11, not got far, have I? I'm just debating whether to cut a slot along here out of this trunking or whether to pop lots of holes. The holes will probably be neater, but multi-tool will make this flop all over the gaff. Right, this is the biggest lie in our industry. See this spring? Right, you drill through anything, take it out, it's supposed to go ding, go off. Has anyone actually had that happen? I've had it once and I'm so excited I nearly dropped the drill. But this, I mean, plastic's not a great example, but I've drilled metal as well, and it always gets stuck in there, and you're still sitting there faffing about with it. It's a lie. Where's that spring into? Just don't come out. Have you ever tried knocking one of these in?
I've never thought to hit it with a hammer.
What do you normally do?
Push it in with a tiny flathead. Go all the way around it and just push it in.
Yeah, it's not always practical, but it's just, yeah, it's a nightmare.
I know I get it, earthing and that, but electricity in a metal box, like, it's just bonkers when you think of it. Then
yeah, but it's a knee-jerk reaction. The only reason the other ones were catching fire was because someone was using an impact driver to do the terminals up, and that's why. Because kitchen fitters started doing electrics, and everyone started doing electrics. So it was a knee-jerk reaction. How do they fix it? Make you fit these. At least if it catches fire, it encapsulates it. Huh? Do you want to leave the simulation? You just got to eat the bag.
No, thank you.
I've got to fit all the cables in those two holes. There's got to be a better way than what I'm doing. So boards are on the wall, finally. So what I'm going to do now is these are all labelled. I'm going to get my circuits that are going into the backup board and get them across and into here, and then vice versa, get all of the 24-hour, well, no, not 24-hour, the permanent supply ones, not the backup ones, in here. It's going to take a bit of faffing about. As you can see, there's quite a lot of cables. I've got to get these tails into this board as well. They should be long enough. And then I can finally start actually changing the fuse board. Oh dear, what a day.
Especially with glasses. Singing? No.
Keep one down, yeah.
Cheers.
What?
Look at the hair. I bet you've been filming the whole time with this.
Yeah,
look like a cockatoo. So yeah, before I was saying how we're using the armoured for this cable, we're just going to put the armour gland on that end where it enters into the wall. But we're using 20mm glands, and all these knockouts, these are 25, so even with the reducers on, you can't actually get a ring on to armour it. There's no way possible unless you did it on the outside and brought it through, which won't look as great. So what I'm going to do is going to take this apart. I'm actually going to armour it this end, put a SWA gland on this end, so that end doesn't have to be armoured, so then it just goes straight into a reducer and a normal stuffing gland, and then send to the wall. So it's just swapping them over, really. John makes some funny old noises, doesn't he?
I can even make some. Jeez.
Beautiful, that is, perfect.
Right, so the cables are all in the fuse boards. It's not gone well. It's really hard. 2:15, and that's where I am. No breakers in the board, no nothing. I think it's gonna be a late one, so I'm gonna crack on for a little while and I'll update you guys later. These spice line connectors are so good. So you push them in and then I'll try and pull one apart. That gives you an idea. Not that I'm the Hulk, but they're really strong. So yesterday it was a bit of a rush to get on. Jordan put me up in a hotel because I'm working quite far away, but the hotel was closed when I got there. So I ended up driving and getting in about 8:30 last night. But I'm back again to finish this off. So Luke's replacing this piece of trunk in here, and the Garrow unit's going down there. So I'm going to be coming in the side here with the EV and the solar. And then I'm going to put the fit meter and isolator around here, finish off this board so I can neaten it up, extend some of the cables that have just been sort of put straight in, and these temporary joints can be permanently jointed. And that's the plan for today.
Right, so we just replaced this smaller bit of trunking, this cable for the solar. So we're going to put this larger bit of trunking in here so we can fit the supply to the car charger. Well, basically it's going to go to this Garrow unit first. So we're going to mount this bit of trunking up here, then put the Garrow right in this top corner, so it'll feed from that into the Garrow unit and then to the charger, because we've got to think about as well, we're installing a Libbi battery storage here. So we're just trying to think of the layout now, so when we come back to install the Libbi, it'll all go together well. So yeah, we're just going to think about it first and then get this installed.
Because the RCBOs aren't bi-directional, no RCBOs are apparently, don't know much about it, we're going to be putting this on the end of it, so we're going to be feeding this RCD and feeding these two via the RCD. The trouble is that we don't have an extra neutral bar, so just put a DIN rail neutral bar in. So then that'll just sort of be its own little unit. We could have put another fuse board in, but as you can see it's getting a little bit busy up here, and we would have put a double stack in, but again, we're limited with our space. So this is a solution we've come up with, but let us know your thoughts on using an RCBO to feed solar, because it doesn't seem to be any clear guidance online or in the regs. I mean, apparently if these are fed backwards, the test button won't work on them, but everything else will work about them. So do you just always feed them via an RCD? I mean, these two circuits don't technically need an RCD. This surface, the solar's clipped surface and then goes up in surface conduit. The battery storage will be all surface as well, but let us know what you think in the comments.
That's well magnetic.
I love these so much. It's the only tool in my tool bag that hasn't rusted. Rusted? What did I say? That's so weird. It's the only tool in my tool bag that hasn't rusted. Never really used Nipex. My missus got them. It was ages ago, but look, not a spot of rust. If you see the rest of my tragic tool bag, it's all rusty.
I like how they give you all the notes in the back of this. Ensure all connections are tightened before commissioning.
Okay, so it's all terminated in that side, second fix. I do actually have to take it back out again because I've got to do the R1 and R1, R2 and IR. Now I'm just joining it through. So this is the cable that comes from the Garo board, and this is the one that runs down to the charger. So we're just going to put them into Wagos and earth the arming, and then yeah, put the cover on, and then like I said, I've got to just do the testing, and yeah, it shouldn't be too long.
I'm not sure what to shonk away, whether to shonk the coving away or this, but that's going to go there. Let's go like that. Oh yeah. How am I going to cut that with multi-tool? That's going to be fun. Yeah, you all mocked me. You all said that ain't going to fit. I'll show you. Yeah, boy. This is a pen fault detection device. So it comes into this RCD to start with, then it feeds this contactor, and it's controlled by this voltage relay. So this is constantly monitoring the incoming live and neutral, looking to see if the neutral disappears. If it does lose a neutral, this contactor will close, and it shuts off all three cores. Because this is a PME system, the neutral and the earth are the same at the head. So if there was a fault on the network, potentially it could raise the potential on the neutral and earth, and then as there's a big metal object outside the car charger that this is plugged into, you could then touch the casing of the car and you'd be at a different potential to earth and you could get an electric shock. So we install these devices to prevent that from happening. .7. That's it for today, guys. No one watches this far anyway, so we'll catch you in the next one.